It was another quiet night at the office. No phone calls, no messages, nothing but junk mail and overdue bills to keep me company. Seems nobody wants to hire a real private dick anymore, a professional like me. A guy who does the detective work nobody else wants to do. A guy who wears hats and walks around in a black and white world. I began contemplating a more profitable line of work, like politics.
We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
All right, folks, good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN Radio Central, reminding you that you can join the conversation for the next hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. Text line up and running at 617-297-8388, 617-297-8388. You can always listen to the station on the TuneIn app. That's right. You can take us anywhere. We stream 24/7 like thousands of other radio stations do on the TuneIn app. Do me a favor, hit the WCRN logo there. We know you're there. We're easy to find. And again, you can take us anyway. Tell Alexa to play WCRN. She'll do it, no questions asked. Now, I stream my show, as do a couple of the other shows here at WCRN. So you can look for that content on our Facebook page, AM 830 WCRN. Do me a favor when you visit there. Hit the like and follow button for our Facebook page. But I am streaming there, our YouTube channel, and my social media platforms at Joe Mangi Show. So you can watch and listen on Facebook, X, Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, and we do stream live to Rumble, the Joe Mangiacotti Show channel on Rumble. Teddy back at HQ, flying the board. He'll get you set up and into the studio for two-way talk and conversation at 508-871-7000. Obviously, folks, we are watching with very sad hearts what is going on in Texas. This is so frustrating, is it not, that you have certain politicians coming out and they're just trying to blame who's this for, who pushed the button, where was the notice, and this is the Trump cut. First of all, it's all fake news, right? The NOAA, weather services, they've all come out repeatedly to say that's not the case at all. Matter of fact, the particular weather center that deals with this area was overstaffed. There are no Doge cuts that have cut into this. There's no Trump reason here. It's give it a rest. Now, I watched the death toll in 15 minutes of the news go from 104 to 109. And still many people are missing. And a lot of these are young, 8-year-old, 9-year-old girls from the camp, their children, their parents, their brothers, sisters, grandparents. This is a tragedy. This is horrible. It has nothing to do with Doge or who's in the White House. It has to do with a storm that came in, sat, and moved a lot slower than it normally does, causing the Guadalupe River to rise 26 feet. And none of us, barely any of us anyway here. I mean, if the Sudbury River raised, or Blackstone Valley River, any of the rivers in the area that you were listening on terrestrial radio to me, raised their banks by 26 feet, how much damage would be done in Metro West and Central Massachusetts? It's a tragedy. And these people who are coming out trying to say it's all Trump's fault, you have no credibility. You sound like a complete jerk off when you do that. It makes no sense whatever. There's no credibility to it. There's no facts behind it. There's no truth to it. Stop talking. Let the adults take care of the problem in the room. It's so ridiculous, folks. Ridiculous. It's all over the news. I don't know if we're going to be able to tackle anything or talk about anything or solve any of the world's problems concerning the flood in Texas at this moment. I think we need to let everybody do what they got to do right now. The Sheriff's Department, the National Guard, whoever's involved in this, their focus is still recovering. And there is a chance that there is maybe some of these missing people are still alive and in a situation they can't get themselves out of. Some of it will be recovery, yes. But that's where all the attention and focus should be. And organizations, I mentioned them yesterday, the Mercy Chefs, let them do their thing. They're doing wonderful work. We've got all kinds of organizations and volunteers out there. Parents of missing children are doing walks along the bank. Please don't let them do that alone, because you really don't want a parent of a missing child, whether they come across their child or somebody else's child, maybe they should be back in the tent. But look, I'm not there. It's not my call. But let's just give the support we can give and let them do what they need to do right now on that. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. I want to get into a lot of stuff, especially on ICE and all that. But, I got a word from our friend over there at Mass Fiscal Alliance and asking the question, Maura Healey has gone missing, apparently. So there's a little bit of a controversy surrounding our governor and her unexplained absence from Massachusetts. And the Mass Fiscal has highlighted this with a press release today. And it was interesting because Governor Healey, she's out of the state. And her office refuses to disclose when she left and when she'll return. Of course, that leaves Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll as acting governor. Now, here in Massachusetts, our governor and lieutenant governor doesn't work, as you know, at like a president, vice president. President is the president all the time, no matter where they are on the planet. I suppose, in theory, off planet. But wherever, it doesn't matter. Everything travels with the president, all the communication, all the command, all the power of the office. It never leaves the president 24/7. And the vice president's true authority, meaning stepping into the role of POTUS, only in the event that A, the president of the United States becomes unalive, or the 25th removes him of some reason, or they resign, as you know that. But in a state with a governor, the way we are here in Massachusetts, when the governor physically leaves the state, they don't remain in power of the state. They remain governor, of course, but all the power of the office is transferred to the lieutenant governor, and they become acting governor with all of the authority, power, and everything that comes with it, right? And we've had situations where the lieutenant governor has signed or created orders and so forth that maybe the governor might not have agreed with. But the point is, when Governor Healey leaves, Maura Healey leaves Massachusetts, the powers of the office of governor is transferred to Kim Driscoll as acting governor until she returns and her feet are back within the boundaries of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Just the way it works, folks. So the Mass Fiscal Alliance, right, Paul Cranny over there, he called out Governor Healey for an unprecedented and bizarre lack of transparency. I'm not saying the governor can't leave the state, but we're back to this. We don't have to answer any questions. We don't have to be transparent. Haley's office did confirm she's out of state, but won't share basic details like when did she leave? When is she expected to come back? Claiming that information will only appear on her calendar at the end of the month. So Paul Cranny says, hey, it's rather important when the top elected executive of the state is MIA for an undisclosed period of time. It's not just secretive, it's unsettling and insulting to the people of Massachusetts. And that, look, we deserve to know when our governor is on the job and when she or he is out of the state. And Craney's analogy here is if your boss disappeared without notice and refused to say when they'd return, it would raise some serious questions about competence, accountability, maybe even their health. So this is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, not a private club. The governor doesn't get to disappear and expect the public to just accept it and not have any questions about it. So Paul at Mass Fiscal, they argue that the taxpayers deserve to know when their governor is on the job. Even if like security, right, concerns, Now, that justifies withholding exact location and exact travel plans, even. But there's no valid reason to hide basic timelines in this case. There's absolutely no excuse for refusing to say when she left and when she's coming back. Do we not deserve to understand that? We hired her, we placed her in that office. And I mean, the royal we, certainly me and most of you probably listening to my voice, certainly didn't vote for her. The secrecy prevents real-time oversight. So does this not undermine public trust for us? It's part of really a broader pattern of dismissing transparency as a concern. Because the governor and team think transparency is an optional thing, that voters who put her in that position and pay her salary don't need to know basic things like if she's even in the state and doing the job. So what say you? Should Governor Healey be more transparent about her whereabouts? Is this a minor issue or a serious breach of trust here? 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. That's 508-871-7000. That will get you into the studio for two-way talking conversation. Do you care if Healey's physically in this state or not? Now, remember, it's different. Unlike the president, her office doesn't travel with her. Her power of the office doesn't travel with her outside of the Commonwealth. It gets transferred to the lieutenant governor, and that is the person actually that is doing the day-to-day running of the state. The person who's signing what needs to be signed, issuing orders that need to be issued. All right, so what say you on this? Is this something that we should be upset about and the governor's office should have far more transparency on? Or do you just not care? We always know where the president is. Literally. We didn't know with the previous guy. There's a lot of secrecy and cover up with that guy. And our government always knows where the line of accession is, meaning they know where the vice president, speaker of the House, secretary of state, etc., all of the people in the line of ascension if something was to happen, so they can quickly be sworn in if need be. But we got to take our first break here. 508-871-7000. We'll go to the phones immediately after the break. Mark's waiting patiently, so we'll go right to the phones when we come back on the other side. Thank you for tuning in to the Tuesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. All right, don't forget, you can tune in on the streaming too. We'll be back in 2 in 10, folks.
Looking for a fuel and food stop that truly stands out? Experience the Yatco difference. At Yatco, we're dedicated to bringing you the best customer service, the highest quality products, and a commitment to making your life on the go easier. Yatco has 15 convenient locations across central Massachusetts, and now our newest spot at 75 Quonsigamut Ave in Worcester. Yatco, where every stop keeps you going. Are you looking for a holistic approach to your health? One that supports your body's natural ability to regulate, adapt, regenerate, and heal? Look no further. The Bioregulatory Medical Institute, BRMI, a nonprofit global organization dedicated to advancing the science and art of bioregulatory medicine, welcomes you to their free and rich library of resources. You'll find articles, podcasts, videos, and more at brmi.online. BRMI believes health freedom is a basic human right, honoring medical ethics and the innate intelligence of the human body. When your body is properly supported, it will thrive. If you're looking for the root cause of illness, physical, emotional, or spiritual, visit brmi.online. brmi.online.
When you find yourself in a corner, you need someone who's got your back. Describe.ai is a natural language search engine that provides access to legal research when you need it the most. Powered by AI to help humans search more than 3 million judicial summaries in both English and Spanish. This app is completely free because access to justice is this company's why. Visit Describe.ai to find the case law that has your back. That's DESCRYBE.ai.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the second segment of the Tuesday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on a Radio Central AM 830 WCRN from the center of the dial, the center of the state, and of course, the center of information, AM 830 WCRN. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. That's 508-871-7000. Let's go to the phones. Mark has been waiting patiently. Hey, Mark, what say you?
I say, I'm very, very disappointed with the Trump administration, specifically Pam Bondi. She should have been asked to submit her resignation yesterday. Why she has not, why Trump hasn't asked or told her to do this is beyond me. Now, I'd like to ask Pam Bondi. First, she sees a list, then she doesn't see the list, and then she sees this, and then and she's going on ad infinitum with this double talk. Now, what were the FBI doing? We saw all of the photographs in the New York Post and on the alternative media of the FBI taking out the box of evidence boxes off of, guess where? Epstein Island. We have the passenger manifest on the Lolita Express. By the way, if there's nothing there, Pam Bondi, why in the hell is Ghislaine Maxwell been rotting in prison for months if there's nothing there? You ate a big egg, man.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, all right. What am I talking too much or what?
No, I just didn't know. I didn't want you to lose the wrong language, Mark. I didn't know where that was going to go. That's all.
No, I'm not using any bad language. What I am doing is talking common sense. And, you're adding 2 to 2 and you're coming up with 5. And then you're talking down to your constituents. I'm talking about you, Trump, like we're stupid. No, that ain't what we voted you into office for, to talk down to us like we're stupid. We're not stupid, and we know what's going on, and you ought to be doing something about it, and so far you ain't. And you know what? I was listening to talk radio last night, AM, all up and down the East Coast, all right? From Baltimore, Maryland, New York City, Philly, all the way to Boston. You know what they were talking about? Just what I'm talking about right now. Trump constituents, and his base is ticked off big time. And I don't know what he's going to do about it.
All right, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, I understand what you're saying because, and I saw her today. I don't know if the clip was live or whatever, but I saw her trying to address this, where she was kind of backpedaling and said, "Oh yeah, back when I said I have all that, I was talking about the files, and that there was a lot of pornography, child pornography downloaded. Those files will never see the light of day." But absolutely, because yes, part of us electing Trump was because of the transparency that his administration showed in the first term, the type that he has been showing. But why, when we get to Epstein, and I understand the suspicion here and the frustration here is just release the damn information, because obviously, right, Maxwell or Giselle or whatever her name is, Maxine Giselle, yeah, she's in prison for trafficking minor children. Who were the clients? This is not a difficult question. Who are the clients? We understand it is common practice not to release the identity of minors or even anyone in the victim in a sex crime. But it's absolutely is acceptable to publish and release the names of the Johns, right? The adult perpetrators of this. And this woman is evil, right? Giselle is evil. She recruited and groomed these young ladies for just this horrible situation. So yes, Mark, I agree with you. This is something. What is it? What did they find? Who's on the list? I mean, did something change? Because Trump did promise during the campaign that was going to be released, right? The Bobby Kennedy, the JFK, all these things, Martin Luther King, and the Epstein files. What is holding it back? Probably, I mean, to my recollection here, unless somebody's missing something, right? The most famous, now infamous, is the Prince, Andrew. I got caught up in this, but there's got to be other. I mean, no, he wasn't the only person that did this. We got right, Bill Clinton on the Lolota Express. There is this it? Is it Bill Clinton that's keeping this from being released? Is it the one person? Is it people that we don't know about? Why? Release the information. Maxine Giselle was recruiting, grooming a lot of young ladies for a lot of different men and a lot of different things going on at that island. And don't forget the mansion in New York. The very large, remember this one, right? With the weird painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress on a chair in the foyer of this place when you go in, which is, what's the story behind that one? So, Mark, I agree with you. What is the backpedaling? What is the kind of walking things back and rephrasing? The DOJ is also in the FBI as well. It said that there are a lot of files have been hidden from them. Things have disappeared. And I think that was part of my point yesterday is it's been time. It's been a long time. There's been a lot of opportunity for things to get misplaced, incinerated, right? Just destroyed, shredded, whatever the case is. And as time is the enemy on this. And some people have lost interest. No question. Some people have lost interest in the Epstein files. Not so much. Because who those young ladies were conned and groomed and forcibly, especially the minors who we don't legally recognize their ability to agree to anything, were violated in horrific ways. Who were the perpetrators? Somebody beyond Jeffrey Epstein and Maxine Giselle need to be tried. I'm not saying hang them up or throw them in jail. They need to be tried, prosecuted, right? Get the grand jury. Argue the case. Do we have enough evidence? Yep, there's crime committed here. Let's proceed with the hearing, have the trial, then lock them up forever. But you cannot have Jeffrey Epstein, who was awaiting trial, Maxwell Giselle there, serving time. Well, what the hell was the crime? She had dozens and dozens of young ladies who are the victims of these, but there were no clients. There were nobody who of course there is. And nobody has interest to Pam. This is directed to Pam Bondi. Nobody has, I understand what you're saying. We're not talking about the sick videos, the pedophile videos, or whatever it was that he downloaded and he has. None of us care about that. We know what that is all about. That's not the issue. Who were the people? Mark made point to the itineraries, right? The flight manifests. You got to file those records. You file a flight plan. You list everybody on the plane. So we know who is flying to Epstein Island. We know through other investigations who has stayed at the mansion in New York. We know this stuff. So that's the information that those people. So what is it that's making this particular attorney general that I didn't think was going to be of that ilk pedal this crap back? And why are they delaying it? So to Mark's call, what is going on? And yeah, we're not happy with this, because when we said part of the reasons we're going to support you for a second term, Mr. President, it was because we do want and we do like a president that's transparent and honest and just says it the way it is and doesn't play these games. And I know that when these and if these records are ever let out in the list of the clients, however they were recorded, the little black book, a data file, a flash drive, I don't care how they were recorded or who they are. I do care what they are, how they were recorded and kept. They got to be out. Those people have got to answer for what they did. I don't care how powerful they are. That's about as stupid as the too big to fail argument with things. If they travel to that island to engage in sexual activity with minors or with women who were coerced or drugged or threatened into it, these people need to face it. Why is this being backpedaled? And if anybody destroyed in the previous administration of the FBI or the DOJ, destroyed records or disappeared records, they need to be prosecuted. They need to be thrown in as part of the conspiracy to this, right? They're guilty after the fact of this, of the original crime. If you played a role in covering it up, you then attached yourself to the crime. So go after everybody, because I think the message has to be there to all people in any law enforcement. If you mess with evidence, if you break the chain of custody, if you do, that you become a player in the criminal enterprise to begin with. And people go after everybody. So who could possibly be on that list that would cause them not to release it other than Bill Clinton? Does it matter? I mean, Bill Clinton, we know, right, 26 times on the plane. We know he dumped his Secret Service multiple times. We know that backstory. So who the hell else is on there? But we're going to take a mid-show break here in the Tuesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show here at AM 830 WCRN. Reminding you, join me in the Cameo Cam studios. If you'd like to watch it on Facebook, X, or Rumble, free to do that. Join the other streamers in real time. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. 508-871-7000. Back in 2 and 10, folks.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Sherry Spear, and here's your latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. It's going to be hot and humid with highs near 90 degrees. Expect partly to mostly cloudy skies this afternoon and some scattered thunderstorms out there. Now, the thunderstorms today will be slow moving and contain torrential rain. So localized flooding is a real possibility today. Please be safe out there on the roads this afternoon and this evening. Tomorrow, not as hot with highs in the 70s and lower 80s. I'm meteorologist Sherry Spear, and you can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
More live and local radio is next. Stay tuned to Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
Hi, folks. This is Mike Stacey, head professional at Norton Country Club, welcoming you to the start of the 2025 golf season. Norton Country Club is a championship 18-hole golf course located just minutes off of 485. The course came through the winter grid, and we're open for daily fee, as well as having membership opportunities and outings available. Our clubhouse is a great venue for your wedding or group gathering needs. If you're interested, call 508-285-2400, extension 1 for events, or 103 for golf, as well as nortoncountryclub.com. Hope to see you out there.
Looking for a station that brings you all sides of the story? Tune in to 50,000 watt powerhouse WCRN, where the left and the right meet in the middle. Whether you lean left, lean right, or just want to stay informed, WCRN has you covered with diverse voices, lively debates, and thought-provoking discussions. From politics and health to pop culture, you'll hear it all right here. Radio Central, where opinions from both sides come together for the conversations that matter. From the center of the dial, the center of New England, and the center of information, AM 830, WCRN, Radio Central.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second half of the Tuesday edition here of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN, Radio Central. Don't forget, you can join the conversation, 508-871-7000. Our text line is 617-297-8388. Lines open and available. Let's go to the phones. Ken's waiting patiently. Hey, Ken, what say you?
Good afternoon, Joe. Here I am talking to a detective, and I think I need to do some detective work with you to help Mark.
Excellent.
Figure out what is going on.
Hey, Ken, are you on speakerphone? It just seems a little muffled to me.
Maybe if I'm just a little close to the phone.
Oh, there you go. Better, thanks.
All right. An awful lot has happened in the past couple of weeks and months. And it seemed like almost everything's been coming up roses for the Trump administration. And I'm not trying
he's had
to
a good streak.
Yeah, I'm not trying to discount the accomplishments and how good he is and his cabinet is, the actions that they've taken. But then this bombshell Sunday night lands and kind of tells me this is one that they've made sure to hold off until we had all these winning streaks, particularly the Triple B complete. You see where I'm going? Like, there's no way they would have let this Sunday night announcement come out prior to Thursday afternoon. Is that fair to say?
You're talking about the Epstein files.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing a pretty good job about trying to, release. And look at Trump. Trump is very quick when a reporter, I watched him do it today again. They're there for this, and somebody brings up, and it was actually, I don't know if you caught it, Ken, because he was still doing the kind of the impromptu live thing when I had to, come on air, is a reporter did that. Well, they're talking about everything else in the world. It brings up the Epstein, and Trump kind of shuts it down. Really? You want to do this? You want to do Epstein right now? We've been talking about that thing for years, and it was interesting because why? That was part of your campaign. He specifically said during the campaign that he was going to release the Epstein stuff and let everybody know what was going on there. So to downplay it now, yeah, they've done a pretty good job about kind of controlling narrative and shooting, not shooting down, I don't know if that's the word, but kind of clipping off somebody who comes in and asking questions that are outside of the particular meeting. I understand when you're in the Oval Office and you've got Zelensky sitting there, don't ask about some stupid other thing. But I thought it was a fairly, if you're taking general questions, why not? Why not the Epstein question?
At lunchtime, I happened to be in another room, was listening to exactly what you described, so I can't add what I saw him in, on a video do to judge that. All I'm getting at is I think this powder keg is a lot bigger than a lot of people are imagining.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Who's on that damn list? Who did Pam Bondi or Donald Trump or Kash Patel, for that matter, find out who has that much juice, I guess? Or, who could what is making them walk back the Epstein files? Who's on there?
I don't know if it's just a matter of who, is a matter of once you open that beehive, all hell breaks loose.
Yes, but he knew that when he said during the campaign, "I'll release the Epstein files."
No, hang on, Joe.
Yeah,
you think he knew everything that was behind it?
No, but he knew it was going to be a explosive. He had to know that.
Know how explosive.
Say again.
You don't know how explosive it is until you actually see it with your own eyes.
I get
Here's
that.
the other thing that people here's what people aren't thinking: is who's to say what existed 5 years ago when we weren't that crazy about the attorney general then?
Right.
Has
How much
gotten-
evidence has
right.
disappeared since
Yeah,
he
a lot
got
of
arrested?
things have changed. So literally, we could have the Department of Justice looking at this, and they're looking and say, you know what, this has been booby-trapped by the previous administration.
Yeah.
There's no way that we're going to be able to prosecute this. We just need to say, as far as
again,
ways-
which is why I go back to, I would like to see, assuming, hopefully, that the inventory taken the day they raided Epstein Island, and we saw the video of taking boxes and boxes and equipment, and computers and hard drives, that inventory list, I'd like it compared to, what's in the inventory storage room right now. And how much difference is there? Assuming that it was an accurate, detailed inventory done at the time of the raid, which is supposed to happen, right down to every megabyte and flash drive and piece of paper. And it's supposed to be kept, and there's a chain of custody, and it's always under, at that point, supervision and lock and key. So is the amount or what was taken out on the day they raided Epstein Island, is it the same amount of information that exists today? I'm thinking it's not.
Oh, all of a sudden. But here's the other thing, that their impressions are being made that Bondi, Patel, and Bongino, they know everything, and they haven't told Trump anything. So Trump's totally innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty of anything. I'm just saying that a summary of what they're finding out, and the people in the DOJ, hopefully they're better people than existed a year ago, they're passing that information along, and I think they're acting upon orders, whether it be Trump or somebody else within the orbits of the administration. So to throw all the shade on that, I don't think that's right. We gotta wait till we find out as much as we can.
Yeah, but Ken, I have to ask the question, right? So if Pam Bondi, say there is some pretty damaging evidence as to, we're gonna refer to it as the client list. What else are we gonna call it? Again, we know there's in other words, Giselle didn't do all this, groom these girls, bring them to Epstein Island, and then all these people that we know flew on that private jet to that island, did nothing except drink margaritas and sun themselves. So, let's start with everybody on there. What I'm asking is, who was in that list? Who's on the list? Who was on that plane, one of those plane rides, or several of those plane lines like Clinton? Who is it that would cause her to backpedal? And absent that, who has enough juice to get Kash Patel and Bondi to not release it, to not say these are all the people that were on the flight manifest. These are all the people and the number of times they went to Epstein Island on the Leota Express. These are why? Who possibly could be that devastated?
Joe, I don't know the answers, but it's fair to speculate. These aren't just past politicians. Obviously, Clinton.
Oh no, it would. That's my point. Is who is it? I mean, who is it right now? A Supreme Court justice? A leader in the Congress? Like who?
All of the above.
Yeah.
You get the picture, not just.
I do get the picture, but what I'm saying is
world.
To hell with it. I'm sorry, if you went and you partaked in these illegal activities, then your life should burn up. It should be. It should be blown up. But if you become, powerful enough, or you're in a government position that the law doesn't apply to you, I don't care who's on the list, and that includes. And I'm not saying this, even if it was a president or the president, I don't care who's on the list. I don't think there's anybody that qualifies as being too powerful or important to blow up their lives because they partaked in illegal activity on Epstein Island. No one.
I understand that principle, but just consider what this president has accomplished in 5.5 months. And if this is as big a powder keg as it's starting to seem like,
Do you think he's delaying it
During-
for this reason?
oh, I think he delayed it so he could accomplish as much as he could. He didn't know.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, do you think that when he gets maybe through the midterms, he'll let it all blow up after that?
I have no way of
Yeah,
predicting day to
I
day
understand what you're saying.
because we
He
don't
might
know.
he might have realized what the fallout will be based on who these files say, and he said, that's all the world will be consumed with, and I'm not going to get the peace here, and I'm not going to broker deals here, and I'm not going to get the economy back on track. The stock market's doing great. Groceries are down. Energy's down. Gas is down. We know all of the great things that have happened in 6 months, the first 6 months of this administration. We've got 3.5 years to go, 1.5 years, or a little less than 1.5 years to the actual election for the midterms. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe, and not to protect him, but to protect his legacy and his administration and the work that has to be done. He might be saying, I need you to back this off, slow walk this, let us get to the midterms. Once the next Congress is set and who controls the House, who controls the Senate is set, then I don't care if this blows up and if it consumes everything, because it will consume all the media cycles. Yes, I understand what you're saying there, but I mean, we've waited this long. I don't mind waiting another year if the bigger picture is Trump continues to get his agenda done, which he's clearly has been doing, to the 10 factor.
I think the easiest way to describe this is the past 5.5 months he's been able to control. I think he looked at this as something I really
once it's out, I can't control it. I mean, it's going to have its own. If it's as bad as we think it is, folks, right? It's going to take on its own life, Ken. It's going to be a monster that nobody can tame, and it will consume everything. And it could change. It could change the players, right? We don't know. It could change members of Congress. It could change people on the Supreme Court. It could change governors. It could change captains of industry, entertainment. Final thought, we're against the clock. Final word.
The number of resignations in all fronts may spin our head.
May thin the herd. Absolutely, Ken. Good point. Good call. Thank you for the call. Always a good call. All right, folks, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. You can join the conversation for the remainder of this hour. For the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN Radio Central, 617-297-8388. That's the text line. It's up and running. No text today. Let me double check. No text today. All right, folks, come back for the fourth and final segment. We'll be back in 2 in 10, folks.
Polar Park is the place to play, so treat yourself to a private suite at the best ballpark in AAA. Suite rentals are the best way to enjoy a fully catered and climate-controlled experience at the park. Whether you choose to watch the game from inside of the suite or out in your seats, it's the ultimate experience for a special occasion. Visit WooSox.com or call 508-500-8888 to reserve your suite today.
This is Jerry Doherty, host of Making Money Last, right here on WCRN. Like all business owners, I'm interested in why people choose to work with Boston Independence Group. So I asked my clients. The most common response, Jerry does not try to be all things to all people. Boston Independence Group is specialized, focused solely on retirement planning. My customers enjoy the difference. We do one thing, and we do it exceptionally well. Help other people live better in retirement. That's it. If you're ready to retire or making plans to retire, we can do for you what we've done for hundreds of other retirees throughout New England. Live better in retirement. Just give me a call. I'll show you how. My toll-free number is 877-772 1776. Again, that number is 877-772-1776. And you can visit us on the web at bostonindependencegroup.com. bostonindependencegroup.com.
I have had for some time arthritis in my knees. It has been recommended that I get knee replacement surgery. I was told about Dr. Charles Bibara next to Memorial Hospital in Worcester. I'm glad I went to Dr. Bibara. I now have no pain and I'm walking just fine. No operation, just treatment by Dr. Charles Bibara at 25 Oak Street, Worcester. 508-799-2674.
All right, folks, welcome back to the fourth and final segment here on the Tuesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN Radio Central. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation, 508-871-7000. So we made reference to, because we had this attack in Texas, far left extremists are charged with this ICE plot. And when we look at this, folks, you know, look at 24 to 25. In 2024, assaults on immigration enforcement officers, there were 10 events, rather. This year, so far, 79. That's a 690% year-over-year increase in assaults on immigration enforcement officers. Unacceptable. And if for a moment you don't think that there's a correlation between the rhetoric on the left, right, when we've got Mayor Wu saying things like the secret police, what is wrong with you? You are a special kind of stupid, lady. There is nothing secret about ICE. There's nothing secret about Border Patrol. There's nothing secret about the FBI or the Boston Police Department, for that matter. Since A, they're paid by taxpayer funds, they wear uniforms, they have insignia. I mean, it's so asinine to use verbiage like this. And then we've recently seen, because some Democrat member of Congress anonymously went on record to say, as long as it was anonymous, of course, and you're about to realize why, that their base, meaning the far left extremist part of their base, doesn't think that the leaders of the left or the Democratic Party are being effective enough, and that they need to have blood. They need to see blood. Now, this is a year after Donald Trump was actually shot and bled on the campaign trail in June last year. And then you wonder why people are emboldened to assault and to treat law enforcement the way they've been being treated. So now we've got this situation where 11 far left extremists were charged in this coordinated attack on ICE agents in Prairie Land Detention Center. It was an ambush. It was a violent ambush, described as deliberate attempt to kill federal officers. And of course, it has sparked outrage. People are absolutely raising the alarm here about these rising threats to law enforcement. So just a few days ago on July 4th, around 10:30 at night, a group of about between a dozen and 2 dozen extremists dressed in black military-style clothing, body armor, launched a planned attack on ICE Detention Center in Prairie Land Detention Center, Alvarado, Texas. That's about 25 miles south of Fort Worth. They used fireworks, tear gas, vandalism, spray painting on cars and buildings, ICE pig, traitor. We're not dealing with very sophisticated people here, are we? And it was to lower that they have unarmed ICE correction officers are in the detention center. They're not walking inside. They're like correctional officers in our jails don't walk around armed on the floor, right? on the tiers, as they say. So this was designed to lure those unarmed ICE correction officers outside. These aren't the ICE agents with the flak jackets, the automatic weapons, the helmet, the cameras, and tear gas, and those are a different type of ICE officer. Those are meant for apprehension enforcement. Those are the ones that have to go into neighborhoods because so-called sanctuary cities and sanctuary states won't cooperate with ICE. And the irony of this is, folks, if these Democrats who try to hide under this phony idea of sanctuary, ICE wouldn't have to be going into the communities. When they came to Boston and we talked about the Operation Patriot, right? The 1600, 970, whatever, they were going after the bad hombres in there. But when they have to go out into the community and those illegals that aren't continually committing violent crimes after they've illegally entered the country are going to probably be in the same work area. They're going to be in the same, maybe even living area, in the same apartment or something, and they're going to get picked up too. So the irony of this is the left who's saying you shouldn't be taking these people. They're the ones that have caused ICE to have to go to the streets to find them. Whereas if they actually did what they should be doing and honor a detention order and notifying ICE enough time in advance that they'll be in court or they're being released from jail, ICE could come over in a very peaceful, organized, lawful transfer of custody. That's all. So to call them traitors, it's so stupid. It's beyond, it's not worth a discussion. But when the ICE correction officers came outside because of all of this commotion, they were fired upon. These animals opened fire, shooting at the Alvarado police officers. They shot an officer in the neck. They fired 20, 30 rounds at ICE personnel. And the acting U.S. attorney, Nancy Larson, called it planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers. Nothing. The officers' injuries were noting that the officers' injuries were non-life-threatening. But they fired upon them. And if you fire upon somebody, I don't care how you cut it up, there's no such thing as I just wanted to wound him. You have the potential of killing them. It's attempted murder if you don't kill them. So 11 suspects face serious federal charges, right? 10 with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer, discharging a firearm in a violent crime, facing 10 years to life in prison, 1 with obstruction of justice for attempting to conceal evidence. Are we just talking about concealing evidence? Facing up to 10 years for that. Police there found a jammed AR-style rifle, 12 sets of body armor, 2 firearms, tear gas, and Faraday bags. Now, Faraday bags, these block the signals. Schools have them. Even people carry them. Just citizens. You can get a Faraday bag off of Amazon. And what it does is you put your cell in there, your smartphone in there, and it protects the radiation. A lot of people do it just for health reasons. Like the same reason they don't put the phone to their head when they talk on the phone. They use speakerphone or headset, plugged in one, because even Bluetooth radiates your brain. So it's a very legit use for it. But because it's a Faraday, just like a Faraday cage, a Faraday bag stops the cell signal. It's like putting it, which you could do it in stop for tracking. You could put it in airplane mode, but people put it in the Faraday bags and you can't be traced. The authorities can't, follow you on your phone. They also found a lot of anti-government propaganda, including a flag reading, "Resist fascism, fight oligarchy." Where have I seen that on a sign before? And then there were flyers also there saying, "Fight ICE terror with class war and free all political prisoners." So that's going to be the angle now, right? We're going to call illegals who are lawfully arrested and detained for being illegal and then committing other crimes, some of them horrific, are now you want to convince us that they're political prisoners? I don't know about that. County, local news, and even some social media posts labeled the suspects as far-left extremists, with some even sourcing or alleging Antifa ties, although there's no document to confirm that. But the attack is part of a disturbing trend, folks, right? With ICE reporting that 7 or almost 700% increase in assaults on officers compared to last year. And this is the 5th assault in northern Texas this year alone, and we're just in the beginning of July. And Larson emphasized that this was an egregious attack on federal and local law enforcement officers, and it's part of an increasing trend of violence against them. There's another attack, a separate one in McAllen, Texas, a couple days later. A gunman fired on a Border Patrol agent. The Justice Department under Attorney General Todd Blanche, and I'm not sure if it's pronounced Blanche or Blanchy, has adopted a zero-tolerance policy for attacks on federal officers, vowing to prosecute with maximum penalties. Well, I hope so, because it's broader implications. There's a lot of safety concerns here. This incident underscores the growing risk of law enforcement amid polarized immigration debates. The FBI is seeking public tips. They do. You can always use the 800 call FBI line. So about 70 officers from multiple agencies involved in the response here, signaling a robust investigation. Prosecutors are exploring domestic terrorism designations as well, because that will change things up as well. You get hit with the domestic terrorist charge, well, that allows different tools to kick in, if you will. So what do you think? Is the attack a symptom of a dangerous political rhetoric? Yeah, of course it is. It's not an isolated type of incident here. So it's very, very concerning. Now we're running against the clock, but this alligator Alcatraz, wow. There was a lot of arrests in Florida this past week, guys. A lot of arrests. These arrests coincide with the opening of Alligator Alcatraz, designed to detain the worst of the worst. So ICE conducted, they were here in Boston for Patriot last month, but they did this massive operation in Florida, 1,120 criminal illegal aliens in a single week, the largest operation in the history of the state. But we're out of time, and we'll talk about this in tomorrow's edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. Incredible, over 1,100 1 week, folks, 1 week. So that'll wrap up the show. Back tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Follow me on the social media platforms. Go out.
This is